All right, I wanted to take one more second and tell you a little bit about a few of my cakes and show you some examples. I am particularly proud of this black and white wedding cake that I designed along with the bride for a wedding of about 600 guests. I also did a 3-tier chocolate groom's cake for the same event, along with 6 supplemental sheet cakes to provide enough cake for all the guests. I also was 35 weeks pregnant with my second son, and I sang a solo and 2 pieces with my choir on the day of this wedding. So although by the end of the day my ankles look like they belong to Miss Piggy, I had a great time, and the bride still talks about this cake as being her favorite wedding cake that she's ever seen at anybody's wedding anywhere on the planet. This is a pink cherry blossom cake that I did for a wedding that took place at a spa in North Georgia. This is an example of a cake where the bride and groom brought me a picture of exactly what they wanted. The only change they made was they wanted the blue colors in their picture changed to pink on their cake. They brought the same picture to a grocery store chain that does bakery specialty wedding cakes, and they told them that they would not do it for them. So they brought it to me. This is the same design repeated in black and white and lime green on a round cake rather than a square for an event that took place the day before at a teacher appreciation luncheon. The teachers had a Zen garden theme, and they liked the cherry blossom design that I was telling them about so much they wanted to see it repeated on their cake in their colors. This is a confirmation cake for some friends of mine who graduated an adult confirmation class and had a rather large reception after their confirmation. Those are white gum paste flowers cascading down the side. Each one has a silver dragée in the center, and the cross is made of silver dragées. This is an anniversary cake for a couple who'd been together for quite some time. The gum paste ribbon is covered in a pearl luster dust, and the cake is airbrushed in an oyster luster dust beneath the corneli lace. This is our first birthday cake. It's a mermaid birthday cake in a sea of cupcakes. The cupcakes are each topped with the pearlized white chocolate shell, and you'll note that the little white chocolate scallop shell at the bottom has some pink luster dust inside and a little pearl dragée in it. The mermaid herself has a fondant tail. She's got some poured sugar coral poking up around her, and she's sitting on the Wilton Wonder Mold pan, but rather than making a skirt out of it, I just made it a little sandy rock for her to hang out on. This is Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots, the Transformers. He is motorized and lighted. There is a YouTube video showing him in action. I have linked that on my initial application. The Allspark raised in his right hand, which is the source of all power, by the way, is spinning. The gun in his left hand is blinking, and his eyes are glowing blue. The cake itself is the base that he is standing on. It's a cracked-looking concrete. He is made of foam, wire, dowels, and then all sorts of electronics are jammed in him, and he is entirely covered in fondant and gum paste. This is a Cinderella Castle birthday cake. The bows are pearlized. This is a girly jungle party cake. It's on a gold leopard print base and a zebra print on top with some pink ribbons. This is a really cute lightsaber Star Wars birthday cake. I wish I could take credit for the adorable witty text, but that came off the invitation, so I think the mother gets credit for that. May the fours be with you. The lightsaber has one dowel in the center for support, but it was made primarily of Rice Krispie treats with some fondant on top, and it's sitting on top of a sheet cake. This is Paul Frank's Julius the Monkey. He was for a first birthday party. If you've ever been to Target, you've probably seen him on just about every clothing item in the children's section. This is an Xbox 360. This is the second Xbox 360 I have made. This one's considerably smaller than the first. They are pretty popular. I don't have a game system. I don't play them. I don't know. This is a girly safari cake. Black, white, hot pink, pale pink. You'll note that a couple of my cakes have these white chocolate gift tags on top. Tucked in with the gum paste bow. I really like the look, and it gives you a nice place to put a message and a name. This one says, Happy Birthday, Sophia. This here is our fire truck cake, surrounded by flaming cupcakes. You'll note that above the windshield, the lights, you've got 2 reds and 2 whites in the center. They're twist lights. This is Mack Truck. He is 28 inches long. He has the same twist lights for headlights. The cab on Mack was made of foam covered in fondant, but the entire trailer is edible cake. This is a baby blue footprint gift box cake for a baby shower that I did. The baby's name was Ped Austin, which is the most interesting name I have yet to put on a name tag of any kind, or a cake of any kind. The little blue footprints I made with my bare hands. I used them like a stamp and stamped on the little foot and the toes with my fingers. And then the gum paste ribbon and the cake itself are all airbrushed with a pearl luster, so it shined and looked really cute. Here is my teapot cake. A dear friend of mine opened a specialty tea shop, and this was for her grand opening. The cake base it looks like wood grain. That's cake covered in hand-painted fondant, and then there's a fondant tablecloth. The foot of the teapot was foam covered in fondant, but the rest of the teapot was edible. The spout and the handle were made from gum paste. I actually let them dry in a bed of cornstarch so they wouldn't get flat on one side. They'd stay nice and rounded. The belly is made from half Rice Krispie treat on the bottom there and then half cake on the top. And I stenciled on the little flowers. This was for Dr. Seuss's birthday this year, green eggs and ham. The cake was all green inside too because of course that's fun. I soldered together some wires to make the fork and then made the little handle on the fork look just like Sam I Am's fork. This is an electric guitar for a second birthday. What a lucky 2-year-old. That is a 24 by 24 bass to give you some size comparison. There are real wires there on the guitar, but the rest of it is entirely edible. The airbrushing on the body of the guitar itself, you'll note, goes from a bright orange to a deep red when you get to the upper portion of the body. This here is my dear friend, Father Joe Green. Joe was called away from my parish recently to the Episcopal Church of the Redeemer in Greensboro, Georgia, which is a gorgeous historical church. And this is a replica of that church where he is now the rector. And this was at his farewell party. It was a big surprise for him. He didn't know I was doing it for him. And he was very, very surprised and pleased by it. I even did the little stained glass windows on the front and back. And this here is my Florida Gator cake. This is probably my favorite that I've ever done because it was just so different. It was for a bar mitzvah. Again, that is a 24 by 24 cake board. So if you measure that gator from nose to tail, he's about 4.5 feet long. He's got a little tier cake that he's hiding in his tail there. He's made entirely a cake with a little bit of Rice Krispie treat around the joints and the thin parts of his tail. All those scales and spines were made with fondant. He was airbrushed with color and then with luster, and then he was hit with some lacquer spray so he looked nice and wet like he just crawled out of the swamp. And then he's got the base that he's sitting on covered with crushed graham crackers so it looks like sand. And if you'll look at the very top of the tier cake, you'll see that it has some sparkly orange and blue gum paste stars on wires, and those sparkles are so bright because that's disco dust on top of everything else. So thanks so much. I hope that you enjoyed all of my cakes, and I appreciate your time.